Single safety. Mitchell and Langer on the line of scrimmage coming from either side to try to block the kick. Auburn trying to go after it. Here's the snap. They got it. Block kick. Ball is back to the 25. Picked up on the bounce at the 25-yard line. And in for a touchdown is David Langer. Clemson Perkins claimed a tie in the ball game.
Nix keeps it, scores, standing up, touchdown. No, returned by Chris Davis. Davis goes left. Davis gets a ball back. They ran back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Oh, God. An answering prayer. Nobody's going to take it. Coast to coast. Touchdown, Alabama.
Give me 1 second. Let me get this. I want an overlay tonight. It is hate week. It's Thanksgiving week, though. Let's not forget about that. Want to hear what you guys are thankful for in the comments. Man, I'm thankful for friends and family. I know I got God in my life. I know he's got an amazing plan. A lot to be thankful for, honestly. What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard here, Ballard Sports Media. That's right. It is here. Iron Bowl hate week. I hate Auburn with a passion. I got a lot of great stuff coming your way this week. You just saw a hype video that I put out this morning for you guys. I don't have school this week, don't have classes. I got some days here or there where I'm going to be free, and I'll try to get some stuff out. I might try to get something out maybe late tonight after this stream's over, maybe work on something for you guys, but I definitely would like to get some great Iron Bowl stuff. I told you, hate week's coming. It's here. Happy Thanksgiving. Is this game going to be close? I don't know. We'll get a preview video out. I'll work on that. And I'll get it premiering on Friday for you guys, and we'll talk about it. But I do want to talk about tonight, just overall, it's a very historic rivalry, and I'll let you guys on tonight, I guess, and we'll talk about some of your favorite rivalries, and we'll pick the games too, because I think there's some big ones this week. So what's up? I see Dominic, obviously myself in here, just getting y'all hyped up. It is hate week, but let me know who's your team, who's your rival, who you playing this week. I would love to hear from you guys. Again, Christian Ballard here, Ballard Sports Media. Love each and every one of you. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Let's keep growing this. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. I don't do it for popularity. I don't do it for fame. I'm not trying to do any of that. But I love to build a community, and we got an amazing one, hell of a community on here. I love each and every one of you, and I'm doing what I can to be the best sportscaster that I can be. Put some effort into it and everything, and along with, doing all this comes the people that follow you along the way. I just love sports overall, as you guys know. But we will be picking the rivalry games tonight, as we have some big ones this weekend, of course. Final week of the regular season before conference championship weekend. It's practically set. I'll tell you what, you got the East on the line with Ohio State and Michigan. Still. Dominic says, as a Virginia Cavaliers fan, I'm saying this for you. Roll Tide. Roll Tide, buddy. Good seeing you in here. Talking about rivalries tonight, I want to talk, I mentioned Hate Week is here. Iron Bowl's biggest moments. Some of the biggest moments for Auburn and Alabama. There's quite a few of them. I could go back to the very beginning. I could go back, and again, I know about these games. I was born in 2001. So the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, Bear Bryant times, Pat Dye, Patrick Nix for Auburn, or, whatever. I know about all this because I've heard it. I've done my research on it. And, you hear about this stuff, especially being in the state of Alabama, especially being a fan of either one of these teams. You hear about it all the time, and it's great to do research on. If you've never watched the Iron Bowl, I encourage you take some time and watch it this Saturday. Now, I'm going to have to work, so I'm going to miss quite a bit of the game. Sadly, job's got to come first, but it's a great rivalry. I'll be pulling for my Tide all the way through. And working at a store too. Let's just be honest. I mean, yeah, people are going to have it on their phones. You'll be hearing it. You'll be hearing people scream about it too, I'm sure. I mean, it's just how it is in this state overall. What's up, Dominic? What's up, LW? Roll Tide. What's up, Jacob? How you doing, buddy? Oh, I'm ready for the Iron Bowl. You know it. But getting back to this. The Iron Bowl is a big rivalry in college football, as we know. But what are some of the biggest moments? I listed at least 6. Just kind of have note of it because, there's quite a few of them. I mean, you could go back to the very beginning when they first met. Auburn won the game. Auburn used to be Alabama A&M. Well, actually, I think they were Auburn. Then they were Alabama A&M. And then they switched back to Auburn. How all that happened, I don't know. You could talk about 1981. Bear Bryant got the victory, 28-17. He got his 315th victory. And at least at the time, getting that victory in the Iron Bowl set him as the winningest college football coach in history at 315 wins. You could talk about 1982. There's 2 minutes left of the game. Bo over the top. They hand the ball off, half-yard line. He goes up and over, breaks the plane to score. I mean, there's so many of them. 1984, they had a chance to score with Bo Jackson. He ran backwards. Not like he hauled it towards the end zone, but, I mean, the Bama defense just kind of held him for a loss of yards, and he couldn't go anywhere. You got 1985, the kick. Van Tiffen, time expires with like 6 seconds left in the game. He goes out. He places the ball on the tee, kicks a 52-yarder to beat Auburn 25-23 at Legion Field. I mean, there's so many of them. I'll even give credit to some that Auburn did. I mentioned 1982. I'll even mention the comeback of 2010. It was like 24-0. They outscored them like 28-3 in the second half. And of course, after the 2010 Iron Bowl, I mean, if I'm not that big of a fan, I don't hate Auburn that much to the point I'm going to pull the Harvey up. We know about Harvey Updike and the poisoning of the trees. We know about that. I'm not that big of a fan, and I don't have that much Bama in me, if you get what I'm getting at, if you understand the reference. 2013, the curse from hell, the kick 6. I hate to bring it up. It sucks. It's historic. It was great. I give Auburn props. But damn, did that hurt. It did. 2014, though, the following year, good revenge for Alabama. But did you know this? 55-44, not only was it a shootout, a lot of offense, but 99 combined points, just one shy of 100. This is the highest ever scoring Iron Bowl in history. There's so many different games, traditions. I mean, 2009, Alabama's looking to keep their championship hopes alive. I think they had already clinched the West. They were already going to go play Florida. But, they really wanted that undefeated season. They wanted that true shot. They needed it. It was 21-20 Auburn at the beginning of the fourth quarter. This is at Jordan Hare. We're going back 12 years ago, of course. We all remember Alabama in 2009, the start of the dynasty and everything. They called it the drive, and it ended up being McElroy to Roy Upchurch for the Crimson Tide to get in the end zone. But, I mean, it was like a 15-play drive, almost about 80 yards down the field. It took 7 minutes of game time. 7-minute drive that went 79 yards. Bama just kept killing the clock. They're like, we're just going to drive this thing down. We're going to go down there and we're going to score. They could have kicked a field goal. I mean, it was only a 1-point game, but, man, they punched it in. They wanted to show that they had the offense. They wanted guys out there. They wanted to, they wanted that drive. So, I mean, this is what makes the Iron Bowl great. And I've been saying this. Yeah, as a Bama fan, I hate Auburn. I hate them. But I got respect. I look at the logo and I want to puke. You know what I mean? It's like that. But, I mean, I'm not going to throw them under the bus. I'm not saying you need to cut them off as a football program or anything. No. This rivalry is very special. We talk about, like, it's like a brotherly sibling rivalry, an affair or whatever. Yeah. If Auburn wins the game, I'm not necessarily happy about it. I'm not going to throw a hissy fit or nothing, but I'm going to give them props. Okay, Auburn won. Congratulations. That's good. I hear some people say, too, like, you pull for both teams in the state. You pull for both of them until they play each other. Then you pick a side. I don't pull for Auburn unless it benefits Alabama, right? Like if Auburn, let's say Bama drops a game somewhere, and the only way Alabama's going to win the West is if Auburn, who's struggling very badly, takes care of a team like an LSU or A&M. If Auburn's not going to win the West, but if they can knock this team off, Alabama has a chance to save their season and go to the SEC title. That's when I might pull for Auburn. Okay, Auburn, if you beat this team, it can help us out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to outright pull for Auburn. I hate them. I hate them with a passion. But I love this rivalry. I don't hate the players. I don't hate the coaches. I don't hate people. It's one of those like, okay, I don't hate, well, no, I kind of do hate Cam Newton, Chris Davis, whatever. But, like, I don't hate Bo Nix, TJ Finley, Tank Bigsby. I don't hate any of the players they have on the team this year. I don't hate Brian Harsin. In fact, I think he's doing a heck of a job this year. I applaud him. I like this guy. I hear his press conferences. He's energetic. He's upbeat. He's got a good attitude and a focus. I like it. It's not the people. It's not the people that wear it. You look at the Auburn logo as a Bama fan and you want to puke. You hate the logo. You don't hate those who represent it. You just hate what they're representing, if you get what I'm getting at. Like, I don't hate people. I don't hate anybody, really. I hate Auburn. The tiger, the blue and the orange. My favorite color is light blue anyway, not even that navy blue or whatever they got. I don't hate Tank Bigsby. I don't hate TD Moultrie, who's a great defensive tackle. I give the players props. I love the players. They're talented players that are going to be in the NFL soon. They're going to be next level. They're going to be great. They're going to do awesome. I don't hate them, but I hate what they're wearing. You get what I'm saying? And I'm sure Auburn fans are like that with Alabama too. They don't really hate Nick Saban. Well, who am I kidding? You all hate Nick Saban. Hate us because you ain't a son. But, like, they don't hate Bryce Young. They don't hate Brian Robinson. They don't hate John Mechie. They don't hate – no. They hate what they're wearing. They hate that crimson. They hate this. They hate this. Not this. This. It's not the players or the people that you hate. You don't hate the fans. You hate the logo. You just hate the brand. You hate what they're representing, basically. The Iron Bowl is very huge, very historic. I mentioned some of these games. I mean, it would take me forever to go through a whole timeline. But, I mean, I mentioned 1981, 315 wins for Bear Bryant, 28-17, winningest college football coach at the time. Bo over the top. Wrong way, Bo in 1984, ran the wrong way. 72 or whenever it was, or maybe that was punt, Bama punt. But sometime in the I think it was in the 60s somewhere. Ken Stabler run in the mud. Y'all remember that? It was downpour at Legion Field. Ken Stabler, an Alabama great. I think it was 7-0. It was the only score, but that was it. That man took off through the mud so fast, run in the mud, got his feet wet. I mean, it was downpour in that one, but you get it. It's very historic. It's very traditional. It is the biggest game on both these team schedules. I don't care. Forget Georgia for a second, Alabama fans. Listen to me. If you're a true Alabama fan and you're like me, yes, you want to win the SEC. You want to win another title. You want all that. I get the standard. But hear me out. At this point, the next game is Auburn. The next game is Auburn. That's it. And quite honestly, I don't care if we beat Georgia or not. I want to beat Auburn. I want to go to Jordan-Hare and I want to beat these jokers. That's it. That's it. I want to beat Auburn at Jordan-Hare. The streak must end. And I know it's only been the last two at Jordan-Hare, but it feels like forever. I don't care what we do. I mean, yeah, after this, after the Iron Bowl, then I'll care. But right now, I just want to go beat Auburn. And Auburn fans are saying the same thing. They don't care what bowl game they make. They don't care who's after this one. They want to beat Alabama. This is just one of those rivalries, folks. There's plenty of them in college football. But the Iron Bowl is very sacred and special in the state of Alabama, deep in the heart of Dixie. And to both fan bases and both teams, you share respect. They're like brothers who share a room or whatever, or they live in the same house. They don't share the same room. They share respect. They don't always get along. The Iron Bowl is huge. And I guarantee you, say whatever you want. Bama might blow Auburn out of the water on Saturday. Maybe that's true. But there's going to be some key factors in that game. And you're going to see some fans. You're going to hear them talk about it. Watch the intro video on CBS 2. Because I'm telling you, if you haven't seen this rivalry before, or you're new to college football or something, I encourage you, watch the game this Saturday. And all you need is maybe 5 minutes of seeing these teams play on the field, and you'll fully understand the importance, the tradition, the passion that both of these schools have for college football, the state of Alabama, and what we call the Iron Bowl. I promise you that. What's up, Jacob? What's up, Nate? Dominic, what's up, buddy? LW. I'll drop the link here pretty soon. I do want to hear from you guys, get you on. So with that being said, hell, I'll go ahead and drop the link because I do want to pick the games this weekend, for this weekend. And get it going, man. Let's get it going. I'm ready. I love rivalry weekend. I love the game. I love what do they call it with Florida State? See, that's what I'm excited about too. Is how about let's not forget about last season. Forget, oh yeah, we know what Alabama did. No, 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 no. We didn't have some of these games last year. We didn't have Florida State, Georgia Tech with clean old fashioned hate. We didn't have that, man. We need it back. Let's go ahead and pick some games. I'll go ahead and drop the link. Let's get you guys on. I want to hear from you guys. Who's winning this week? Georgia is automatic. Well, yeah, I mean, you could say that. But again, I even think for a game like that, that's an intense rivalry too with Georgia Tech. Clemson, South Carolina. Now, that one's actually pretty interesting because it is mostly because of how Clemson's played this year. Can South Carolina finally win the Palmetto Bowl? That'll be pretty good. I'm excited for that one. I might have to do a couple preview videos for, like, I might do one for Palmetto Bowl. I might do one for Georgia Tech, Florida State. There's a few of them out there, but we'll see. What's up, Nate?
What's about it?
I know, Crimson, I know that. I was just joking around. But again, like I'm serious though about like Clemson, South Carolina. With Clemson this year, it's like the games that they have dropped. It makes you think if this is finally the time for South Carolina to get back to winning this game. What's up, Jacob?
What's going on, Ballard? Florida State, isn't it like the sunshine game or something?
Seminole Sunshine
I
State.
can double
What it
check.
is?
I think it's a sunshine game or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me see.
Man,
Sunshine Showdown.
yeah,
That's it.
Okay.
man.
I'm excited, man. I'm really excited to have these back. I mean, last year not having them, we're glad that we got football, but not having those particular rivalries, it sucks. I mean, it honestly did.
And plus, Michigan got a little scared of Ohio State last year because they canceled the game.
That's not what happened, but
we have to start with
The Egg
Thanksgiving
Bowl.
Day, the Egg Bowl. Now, I think Ole Miss is going to win this, but Mississippi State's looked pretty good the past couple weeks. They're 7-4. They're both bowl eligible. This is top 25. They say 52% chance for Mississippi State. Let's talk about this real quick. Let's all talk about the Egg Bowl. Now, Ole Miss. Go ahead.
I said this is the most underrated game of the weekend.
I think so too. Look how low this is. This is NFL right here too. 1 point spread. I think this is going to be good. Honestly,
if you like,
talk about it real quick. I'm gonna come up with a score prediction, but I think this will be really good.
Okay, well, let me say something. If you like teams that pass the ball, watch this game because you're going to see a lot of it. Mississippi State, obviously, because they run the air raid, and then Ole Miss has, in a lot of people's opinion, the best quarterback in the nation and great receivers in Lane Kiffin. It's going to be a high-scoring game.
For sure.
That's how I look at it. Now, defensively, Mississippi State's defense has improved over the course of the season, especially in the second half versus Auburn. I mean, we saw them get pressure on the quarterback. I'm in the middle of it, but I think this is such a hard game to pick. I'm going to think about it.
Now, I'll say this. It being in Starkville, I mean, it's practically a coin flip. I'll go ahead and I'll give my thoughts on this, and we can talk about it some more. But, I'm just going to go ahead and outright say I think Mississippi State gets it. I think there's a lot of offense, but there's also some good defense. It's 1 point spread, but I think Mississippi State might pull it out 3 points with a late. I think they get a game-winning field goal, and they go down and they win 45-42. I think Jerry and Ely, you look at this running back, is really, really good. He's going to be fast. I like the offensive line in this game to protect the quarterbacks, but I also like the defenses too. So there's going to be some stops. Yes, Ole Miss has the better offense, but when in doubt, like I say, I pick the home team, And quite honestly, man, this is one of those games that's a head scratcher because even though Ole Miss is a better team this year, or like talent wise and everything, like Matt Corral's better than Will Rogers in my opinion.
I'm
Jerry and
back.
Ely
Sorry.
probably better. Like it's like that, but I also like what Mike Leach and Mississippi State have done the past few weeks, and I think they're coming off a pretty interesting stretch. They're ranked. They got some motivation to be the 25th team, just to be ranked right now. I think they could get this done at home.
I'm gonna make my pick.
Now, here's my thing about the air raid scheme for offense. I think it's one of the most toughest schemes in college football, because it's basically just passing all day long, basically.
Well,
I'd say that.
I think I'm gonna make my pick, and after looking it over, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick Mississippi State.
Okay.
I think they're gonna win this game, 35-28.
Wow. Okay.
Could you guys see this being, and it might not be as high scoring, but could you see this possibly surprise us and get out of hand and be like maybe that 7-0?
I could see it.
Not saying it'll be 7 overtimes, but remember how high
9 overtimes, no.
It's not going to be that. But could it get out of hand and maybe we see a lot more points than we expect? Like, could these teams hit maybe the high 50s, low 60s in this game? Could it be that big of a shootout with offense?
Let me say this.
Maybe.
One of the main things that people forget about Ole Miss is that they're really good at running the ball.
That's true.
People think it's just –
and you know what's so great, too, is not only are they good at it, they have a couple of different backs to choose from. I mean, Snoop Connor was a great back for them, and he was the key guy last year. But Jerry and Ely, obviously being the key guy this year, they have a couple different options at running back that they can mess around with.
Yeah, I just –
Hey, Ballard, actually, I'll wait because we can say for the game, like second to last, because Iron Ball goes first if you want.
Now,
let's just go ahead and because I mean I want to look at other games, but overall final thoughts on this game here. Again, I'm going 45-42. Mississippi State. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think the main thing
we have.
Hey, Barry, give me Ole Miss.
No, I was just going to ask Sam if he had a score.
Give me Ole Miss.
I think the main thing that takes over this game is that Mississippi State, their pass rush, and they have a great run defense. I think that's going to take over this game, and that's how I think they're going to win 35-28 Mississippi State.
I think Ole Miss will win this game, Barry, because I think Mississippi State will lose because Ole Miss did beat Tennessee because Lane Kiffin was one heck of a coach, and I think Ole Miss can pull it out the end.
Well,
that's my opinion, man.
I understand that. I just don't look at other matchups because Mississippi State didn't play Tennessee, so
I know, but I like Ole Miss.
That's true. But I'll also say this, and you can say whatever you want to about Tennessee State or Auburn. I mean, say whatever you want. Oh, that's nothing compared to Ole Miss. But at the very least, I do have to give Will Rogers and Mississippi State some credit. That offense the past couple games has looked pretty darn good, man. I got to give them props. They're going to put some points up.
Sam Bell, if we're gonna look at it from that way, the Mississippi State beat Auburn and Texas A&M.
But you gotta give Ole Miss some credit too.
I know, but Ole Miss lost.
Yeah, I mean they have one of the better quarterbacks. Who, I mean, is Matt Corral still technically a Heisman candidate? I mean, are they still talking about him a little bit?
I mean, I
don't know.
I guess he is. But
I would consider him. I mean, he's great, but I mean, at the same time, like the Rebels have had. I mean, well, who am I kidding? I mean, the loss to Auburn. I mean, that's not too bad.
What I'm saying is, I think everyone talks about the air raid and all that. I just think the front seven for Mississippi State is going to turn over this game.
Yeah, I would agree. But overall, I mean, look, bottom line is this: Mississippi State and Ole Miss have great offenses. I think we're going to see that Thursday night. Again, I believe Yeah, it'll be Thursday night. That's on Thanksgiving. But I think we're going to see a pretty interesting game here, shootout, maybe kind of like what we had in the Iron Bowl a couple years ago. But I don't know. I got to give the nod to Rodgers and Mike Leach and everybody. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Ole Miss won this game, but I kind of think Mississippi State's on a roll here, and I think they close out the season with a really good win over the Ole Miss Rebels. But again, we'll have to wait and see what happens.
I know they don't do it much, but every time Mississippi State runs the ball, which is about 7 times per game, they're getting 6 to 7 yards per carry just because the team's not expecting
It's
it.
really good.
And
it's really good.
Ole Miss is one of the worst run defenses. I know they don't run the ball a lot. I think
now their defense, when in the offseason they were talking about the defense for Ole Miss and how it was going to be improved. And I've seen some improvement, but mostly in the secondary. I would still agree with you, though. Against the run, they still suck. I mean, they're not that good, really.
Yeah. And, I think Nick Saban has a counter to the air raid because every time he plays an air raid offense, they shut them down. So I think he has a counter to it that next year Mike Leach is going to have to figure.
Let's look at – okay, how about Missouri and Arkansas? I mean, Arkansas – is this one even debatable? I mean, look, they're both –
Missouri is one of the worst run defenses in the FBS. Arkansas rushing offense, I think they're just going to run over Missouri. That's all they're going to have to do the entire game. And
the spread is 14.5, and I think
can
this
hit
is
Traylon Burks. Well, what I'm
first off, Missouri is worse than I thought they would be. I do like Elijah Drinkwitz. I do like the coach. I think he's got a good attitude, and yeah, I think he might be the right guy for the job. But this year just hasn't been, at least in the offseason, what I expected it to be. And I'll tell you what, they're giving up 34 points a game. Not only is that bad, it's worse than that. I promise you. It looks a little better than it actually is defensively on paper for them. Arkansas should have no problem just going out there, having the offense that they've had this year with Jefferson, Traylon Smith, and Burks, and all those guys. They're going to put a lot of points up. It might be a shootout. The spread is 14.5. I do like Arkansas in this game, but how much? I honestly, like, how many points you giving them?
I mean, look, Arkansas.
I see you in the chat, Jeff.
You're looking
not
at
hate week for me.
Not hate week.
It's hate week for me because I hate all of them.
Well, what's his hate week?
What reason? Hate week. It's rivalry week. The Iron Bowl, whatever.
Wait, what?
Anyway, what were you going to say about this game here? Jacob.
Huh? Oh, I was going to say that rushing offenses in college football. Then you have Missouri, who's one of the worst rushing defenses. I think that basically automatically gives the win to Arkansas. They're just too much for Missouri. Missouri is a bad matchup for them, with them having one of the worst run defenses. And I think Arkansas is going to roll over Missouri. That's just – if I had to pick a score, I'm going to go 45 to 14.
Damn, that bad?
Yes.
I mean, I'd give – well, their offense really isn't. Yeah, I could kind of see that. I'd probably give them maybe somewhere like 20. I don't know, but again, like I said, like Arkansas should run through them. I don't know.
Yeah, what does everyone else in the StreamYard think?
I don't know.
No other opinions? Okay, cool.
Arkansas is going to beat Missouri because Missouri's terrible. We'll give it to Arkansas.
Pretty much. I mean, that's a good summary right there, Sam.
Oh, let's bring up I want a really good game next.
Which one? What do you want?
Why don't we bring up Georgia Tech? I know it's not a big game, but it's my favorite team. And
hey, look, man, historically, it's a big game, man. And the fact that, again, I mentioned, like, I hate that we had conference only last year. I miss Georgia Tech. I miss Florida State and all those. I mean, I miss those. Georgia Tech, I think, is I mean, yeah, they're still a terrible team and program, but I mean, I think like they're 3-8, but I still think at least compared to maybe a couple teams in the past, they're a little better than they have been. But like Jeff says here, they should obliterate Tech. They
Yep.
should. I mean, it's going to be rough. I'd say you guys. I'd give y'all 52. And I think maybe they get only a field goal. I think like a 52-3.
Georgia's going to obliterate Georgia Tech. Georgia's going to blow out Georgia Tech.
Oh, for
blow
sure.
them out.
Yeah, I'm not going to I'm not going to analyze the game because we know what's going to happen. But I do think Georgia wins. I'm gonna go 56. Or no, I'll go 55 to I agree with what Bob's saying. I'll go 55-3.
There you go. What did I say? Did I say 55 or 56? It doesn't matter. I mean, it'll be something like that. And I don't like predicting shutouts. So at the very least, I'm like, I'll give the team some credit and maybe give them a field goal or two. That's it. But I mean, yeah, Georgia Tech. This is one of those. Yes, Georgia's that good of a team to blow them out, but also Georgia Tech, I really think is that bad of a team that they're really not going to put up much of a fight. You get what I'm saying?
I'm going to change my mind. 55-0.
Damn. All right.
Well, I'm thinking the same thing. 55-0.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, Jerry. Actually, Bob Stoops used to be the DC at Florida. Will he come back as heck? That's actually interesting. As far as the Florida coach,
Bob Stoops. I mean, I guess he could.
Head coach at where?
Well, no, Bob Stoops. You know him, Oklahoma coach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to be the DC at Florida.
Was that under Urban Meyer?
No, Urban Meyer's era was Charlie Strong.
Oh.
And actually, Celine Driver, he told me who he wants to be Florida's new head coach. He said he wants it to be Charlie Strong, which I think is absolutely ridiculous because Charlie Strong's destroyed 2 programs in the past decade. But it's his team.
What 2 programs he's destroyed? Which ones?
Texas and South Florida.
Yeah.
Both used to be pretty good. I mean, it's his team. Still, I don't agree with it at all.
What's up, Jeff?
What's going on, Jeff?
I don't know who Florida is going to hire, and I don't really care. LSU is the best SEC job that's open right now. That's a better job than the Florida job.
I absolutely agree with that. But
the best job that's open right now is probably USC.
Hell yeah.
Because of all the media, for the right coach, it is. And whoever goes to USC, I mean, look at who your competition is in the conference. Okay, you don't have very much, and you've got all sorts of recruiting talent. I mean, all sorts of recruiting all around you.
Oh my God, Jerry!
So the difficulty of you winning your conference if you go to USC is a lot lower than the difficulty of, say, you take the Florida job or the LSU job and you try to win the SEC.
Alabama Crimson Tide versus Auburn.
I agree.
Who wins it?
What?
Who wins it, Alabama or Auburn this Saturday?
Oh, okay.
I know what JW is going to say. He's going to say Alabama. I know that.
Well, I know what I'm going to say.
Hold on.
I'm going with Auburn. War Eagle over Roll Tide.
Oh,
sorry.
You an Auburn fan?
And I don't blame. Look.
Yeah.
I don't blame.
Yeah.
Oh, he's an okay. That makes more sense then. I'm going to pick Alabama to win pretty easily.
Now hold on, and Jeff, Auburn, and I don't know what the hell it is, but whenever they play Alabama, there's always something that, and it's not an automatic win. I think we're going to handle them pretty well, but I think they're going to put up more of a fight than maybe a lot of people are expecting them to. I mean, I will say this, that I do hate that Bo Nix is out. I like Bo Nix. I do think he's a good quarterback. He'll
You
fit
like
in
Bo Nix?
somewhere, but
You like Bo Nix as an Alabama fan?
I don't hate the players. I hate more so the brand and the name of Auburn. I don't really have hatred for a human being or whatever. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
that's fair. I respect.
That's what I'm saying. And
I
even still, I gotta give prop. I mean, it's not that Auburn doesn't have talent. They don't have enough talent to at least beat Alabama. I think we're gonna win this game.
You know what
We're
Greg
gonna win
McElroy
this
said?
game. But I'm
No, Greg-
telling you, don't sit there and act like it's going to be some 50-0 blowout. This isn't, an everyday game for Alabama. This is the Iron Bowl. This is at Jordan Hare. I guarantee you it's going to be a loud environment, packed out house. I mean, I'm sure they're selling some tickets and everything. And, it hasn't, Auburn wasn't all that good in 2009 that I remember. I mean, does anybody remember how good they were? They gave
were
them a
good.
game.
They were good in 2010 under Cam.
They were good. Well,
Cam
they
Newton.
won the Natty that year, Sam.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
got to remember that year.
Well, referring to what Greg McElroy said, and this goes with Jeff's argument about USC, he said that you have a national championship roster 1 hour within Los Angeles, which, I think he's using that as expression. I don't think he has he really means that there's a national championship roster in Los Angeles. But, what he's saying that the USC job is so good, there's so much talent, and really you don't have to work as hard to recruit at USC as you would have to, like, let's say Tennessee or Kentucky or something like. So the USC job is, I think, the best job in the country. And Slim Shady told me that Miami was a better job, which is ridiculous. But he's a Miami fan, so
Miami is not even close. Is not even close to being a top 10 job. Slim Shady's head's up his ass.
yeah. I had an
It's
argument.
It's not even a top 10 job.
I had an argument with him about that. I think on Celine's channel, and he told me that Miami was a better job. So we went on to argue for about 20 minutes, and I was making my points, and I just felt like he was ridiculous the entire time. But that's just how I felt.
Look, Slim Shady is a great troll, and he's really great at getting under people's skin. But sometimes he does say fucking idiotic thing, or pardon me, Ballard.
That's fine.
Crazy, stupid things. And Miami a better job than USC? That's an opinion held by about 1% of anybody that's ever paid attention to college football.
Miami's not even a better job than LSU.
Miami is not a better job than Florida. Florida is a better job than Miami.
I agree.
Jacob, what do you know about Miami?
You don't need to hear things
Miami.
like that.
Well, I know that
You just a
their
boy.
program's been a failure the past 15
I'm just
years.
kidding. I just wanted to use that one.
But what I'm saying is, like, Miami is, in a way, they fire a coach every 3 years. I mean, how do you expect that to be a better job than USC or even LSU or Florida? I mean, I just don't understand. But he's a Miami fan, so that makes sense to him, I guess. And he's talking about how Mario Cristobal is going to go to Miami and all that. Of course he's saying that. And USC, I think it's a top 3 job right now. That's just how I look at it.
And now, if you're the coach at USC, now with the rule changes, with the name, image, and likeness, think how much. Let's say you're a weak side linebacker. Okay, so you're like number 8 on a company's position list for a sponsorship. I mean, you're not the wide receiver, you're not the linebacker, but you're in the middle of the pack. Okay. You go to Tuscaloosa, some car dealership or somebody might offer you $2,000 a year, whatever. You're in Los Angeles, that's $30,000. There's so much more NIL money in the LA market. The fame, the spotlight, the media attention, and you're not under the same kind of outside pressure you are at an SEC school.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
If you're the USC coach and you get to pick, let's say you get one of every 4 recruits you really go after. You're going after 4 guys. Every 4 guys you're going after, you get one of them. Okay. And it all comes within 300 miles of downtown Los Angeles. Right away, you're a top 10 recruiting class. Right away.
Exactly.
With 1 out of 4 coming to you. You get 20 out of 100 kids you go after. 1 out of 5. 20 out of 100, you get them.
Yep.
And they're all from within 100 miles or 500 miles or whatever of the immediate Southern California area.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Georgia's roster, Alabama's rosters, LSU's roster, Ohio State's roster.
Yep.
Look at all the rosters and look at all these kids that are from California.
Yep. There's a lot of them.
USC.
Yeah.
They just need to do a better job of keeping those guys in California. And I know big programs, they haven't been retaining enough of them.
All right, look. Who knows what city the Rose Bowl is in?
Los Angeles.
Pasadena.
All
right. Pasadena. Where did Bryce Young play high school at? Where's he from?
It was Mater. Yeah, Mater died.
Yeah, Brees Matter died. Where's that at?
California.
Pasadena. Is it Pasadena?
Pasadena.
Awesome.
The kid grew up
Lucky
a 10-minute taxi ride from the Rose Bowl, and he went out to 100,000, and he left 8 million people in the metropolitan Los Angeles area to go play in a town of 100,000 in the middle of Podunk, Alabama.
I remember when he had signed with the Tide. You know how close he was to. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't regret going to Bama now for a second, but a lot of people expected him maybe to pick USC. I mean, he was really close to going there.
Oh, Maddie says he lived in Pasadena. Matter dies in Orange County. Okay, well.
What's up, Maddie?
Thank you for clarifying that, Maddie, but Orange County is next door to Pasadena, so it's not like the point is he's from right there.
Right.
You know where JT Daniels is from?
Mater Day, whatever.
Oh yeah, he did go to Mater Day.
He did. Oh, yeah, I don't know exactly where in California he's from.
Yeah, I think it's obviously. Well, point is he went to.
What Saban has been good at, and Kirby's good at it too. So I'm not just saying it's a Nick Saban thing, but I can only use Saban as an example because I can't identify the exact players for other schools, but I can for Bama. Devontae Smith, 10 minutes from LSU's campus, bang, Alabama. Josh Jacobs literally grows up right there.
What's up, guys?
Plays down the street from Gaylord Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma, ends up at Alabama. The Brockemeyer brothers, whose daddy is an All-American at Texas. They grow up in Austin. They're in the red shirt room right now for Alabama, ranked as the number 2 offensive tackle and the number 6 center in the country. They'll be playing next year.
Hell yeah.
Well, you know where Brock Vandegrift was from?
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You know, if you're Sarkisian, you've got to keep the Texas boys in Texas. If you're Charlie Brown, if whoever the hell you are, you're the next USC coach. It's not what you've got to do is not rocket science. It's not difficult. Like, well, we're going to have to go get kids out of Idaho. No, you're not. You just have to keep your California kids home.
Yeah. You know where Brock Vandegrift was from?
He went to Prince.
He was from
what's it? Prince Avenue.
He's from Oklahoma.
I'll tell you what, too. One of the bigger states, Alabama has, and of course they're not all starters, but some of the key guys that have come in recently. I'll name a few: Theo Jones-Bell, Trayshawn Holden, Christian Leary. You have a guy like Ja'Cory Brooks, who's a key guy to look out for the next couple of years, who's from Miami. They have quite a few guys in Florida. That's a hot spot for recruiting too.
Alabama really well in Florida.
What?
Look, here's the two relevant Alabama/Florida recruiting stats that you need to know.
Yeah.
In the class of 2021, the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 high school wide receivers in the state of Florida, 1, 2, and 3 are all in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
And Saban has recruited more 5-stars since 2016 from the state of Florida than all the Florida schools combined.
That Alabama recruits really well there. That's
yeah, and there will come a time when that door gets shut. And when that door does get shut, that's going to hurt Alabama. But right now it's open, and while it's open, you cut you cut bait or fish. You ride the pony while you got him. And right now, Bama's got the pony.
Yeah,
won't always be this way, but it is right now.
Alabama used to get a lot of players out of Georgia. Not as many anymore, but they used to get
because of Kirby.
No, Kirby has
he
clamped
recruits
down
in state.
He's built a wall around Georgia because the advantage that Kirby has and people consider Georgia being the same categories.
I like Maddie's Florida equals South Alabama confirmed. Facts.
That's funny. But the point I was getting to is people consider the top high school talent to be in Georgia, Florida, California, and Texas. The thing that California, Texas, and Florida have to deal with is there's a bunch of programs they're sharing the talent. Well, Georgia has it all to themselves. All they have is Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech's not getting the top talent over Georgia. So that's the advantage that Georgia has.
I would agree with that list of states. I would also throw in you can't overlook the industrial Midwest, by which I mean, and even though it's not a Midwest state, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, New Jersey, and New York. That combination of states doesn't produce the same combination of states that Georgia, or the same combination or the same quality that the California, Texas, Georgia, Florida. But that's also another place you can go and get. And those are places you usually go and get your big fellas.
Yeah.
That's where Ohio State gets their players.
I'll even do, one that is, I think, slowly, and, well, how do I want to put it? I'll tell you what, the past few recruiting classes, and I don't think it necessarily started with Tua, but, I mean, there's quite a few good Hawaii prospects out there, too. Now, they're, some of them are from California anyway, but, I mean, like, who knows? I mean, I'm sure, the next few years or so, would Hawaii maybe be a state that a lot of people are looking at for top high school talent for college football?
Well, I know Tua's from Hawaii. I know that.
Tua's from there. I think DJ was from.
No, he was St. John Bosco. I got mixed up.
Yeah.
With JT Downs. And DJ.
But there's another quarterback. There is another Hawaii quarterback who is a little bit older than Tua by maybe 2 or 3 years, and I can't remember who it was, but he was from Hawaii too, and he was good.
Okay, let me look.
Where did he play?
I'll try to find him.
Did he play at Hawaii?
No. And it's driving me crazy now because I know damn well there was another
Marcus Mariota.
Because when Tua came out, everybody was like, he's the next Hawaii guy following on the footsteps of, and then I can't remember what the hell the guy's name was.
Marcus Mariota?
Marcus
Mariota. Thank you very much.
Yes, he played at Oregon. Remember, he almost won. He won the Heisman.
Yes, I know who Marcus Mariota is, Ballard. I just couldn't remember his name.
No, I was just throwing the facts out there.
The thing to me that is a surprise is because Iowa's got one of them. They got probably the Ray Guy winner. All these punters that have come out of Australian rules football. There's in Division I. I mean, there's like 25 punters that are from Australia.
Yeah, I was great punters. Oh, wow. In my opinion, the top 5 jobs I'd say right now are I'm going with Georgia, Alabama. Well, no particular order. Georgia, Alabama, USC, LSU, and Ohio State.
And I think the only reason why, okay, someone help me out with this, because we talk about all those places that you mentioned, Jacob. These are not necessarily like the most it's based on historic, like USC historically is relevant.
Well, it's not only
LSU
about that.
historically is, okay.
There's,
Go ahead.
It's not only about that. USC has talent everywhere. That's the main reason.
That's true.
History matters, but the talent in California, that's mainly
it
the
just
reason.
has never really gone away.
I'm going to tell you the one thing that hasn't changed since I was probably, I don't know, junior high, high school. So we're talking about right around 1980, all the way up through today. The one constant at USC, the thing that you absolutely take it to the bank, no matter what, no matter who the coach is, this is going to absolutely be true. They have the hottest damn cheerleaders. Oh my God.
Shut up, Jeff.
The USC, they call them the song girls. The USC song girls are sent from God. Thank you.
God. I remember a few weeks ago we were watching they were doing what, Tusk or whatever it was.
Tusk, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just, when they do their Tusk routine, the whole stadium just goes silent. You just can't breathe. You just can't breathe. You're just like, oh my God.
Yeah. That's true about USC, but Matty brings up a good point. He says that the great players in California on the West Coast, they just might as well go to Oregon.
Yeah, well, that's what's I mean, that's how Cristobal's built Oregon. I mean, he's just going down I-5 and cherry picking what he wants out of Southern Cal.
And Clay Helton was letting it happen. You got to build a wall around California and then compete with.
Now, there is to a lesser extent. Now, Lou harps about this sometimes, but Lou's got the right idea, but I think he sometimes misplays his hand when he talks about it.
Okay.
Are academic requirements. The NCAA sets minimum academic requirements that every university and every college is required to enforce. Okay. Now, if you want to, nobody's making you, but if you want to, you can set your own standards higher. Now, that's probably going to hurt you because you're going to lose some kids. You might lose. It's overblown how many you lose, but you might lose 2 or 3 a year. Okay. Over time, that adds up. Okay. Notre Dame is affected by that. Whose fault is that? It's Notre Dame's fault. They voluntarily choose to have a higher standard. But people don't understand this because it never gets talked about. So does USC.
Whoa.
Yeah.
USC has academic standards that are above the NCAA minimum. All the universities, all the California universities that are in the University of California system, Cal Los Angeles, Cal San Bernardino, Cal Northridge, blah blah. All those schools have the minimum. But USC, people don't realize it. USC is a private school. It's like Northwestern. It's a private school. And their academic standards are higher. Now, how many players does UCLA lose every year because of that? I don't know. Like I say, maybe 2. But it's 2 they wouldn't lose if they didn't have their own standards. So it's a choice they make. And I'm just saying, it's one of the things that plays into. If you're the head coach and you take the USC job, you have to know that every year you're going to lose some kid because of, For one thing, Notre Dame requires it all. They don't redshirt anybody, and they require all incoming freshmen to take college algebra on as a letter grade, not pass fail. I don't know, those of you who are not old enough to go into college, you can take classes as pass fail instead of a letter. Notre Dame requires that you to take college algebra as a lettered class, as a graded class.
A, B, C, D, or F, whatever, basically.
Right. Okay. Well, a lot of these kids are coming out of high schools that have not prepped them for that.
Yeah. But Jeff, I have a question.
All right, hang on. I got a phone call. I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, let's get back to these games. I mean, we were talking about them earlier. I kind of want to break down and analyze more.
All right, what did I miss?
Yeah, I'll pull it up. Hold on. Which one you want to look at?
I want to talk about Ohio State, Michigan.
This is going to be a good one. I really do. I'm not going to pick them to win because I'll be honest. Maybe I haven't given Ohio State enough credit. But this,
talking about
honestly, this could be the year that Michigan gets it done. For sure. I mean, look, they can do it.
You're picking Michigan?
All right, I'm back. Wait, where'd Jeff go?
Well,
no,
Jeff has a phone call. But anyways, I was going to talk about the game. And I think Michigan has the right matchup for Ohio State. I mean, going to the Michigan State week, every single person, well, at least I was talking about how it was a bad matchup for Michigan State. You have the best pass offense in college football versus the worst pass defense in college football. And we're talking about, well, it's such a bad matchup. We don't really give Michigan State much of a chance to win and all that. Well, Michigan does have a good pass defense. And Ohio State, yes, they're gonna throw it and they're gonna do well passing it against Michigan, but they're not gonna score 42 points and a half, if you know what I'm saying.
No, they could they usually get competitive in the first quarter and second quarter and the second half, and mostly Ohio State usually gets rounded up and beats the Michigan, but I'm not gonna say that's gonna happen. But
you know what that has to do with?
What?
That's coaching. That's why Michigan doesn't do well.
I know, and Michigan has to pass more, not run more, or whatever.
Well,
in my opinion, because Ohio State is going to run zone coverage all day.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say all day, but some of the parts of the day. And you got to – this is the game where McNamara needs to be consistent all game long. If he
go ahead and finish up, Nate. What were you going to say about Cade McNamara?
If he doesn't do it consistent enough, then put J.D. McCarthy in. I don't care.
Oh, you see, there's where you're wrong. You did that versus Michigan State, and what happened?
Right.
What? Oh yeah, true.
But you got screwed if you can't, and not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think what happened in the Michigan State game is that Michigan State.
Yes. I get what you're saying, guys, but and yes, I truly believe that J. McCarthy is probably the future of Michigan football if he stays here for a little bit longer, but hopefully. I think he's the one guy to count on next year. Although McNamara's doing a really good job this year, I think he will lose his job to McCarthy next year. But I'm not trying to go next year. But I'm just saying that Michigan does have a chance against Ohio State. Not saying they will win, but they do have a chance.
Okay, well, let me say this.
Here's my assessment of this game. Clearly, Ohio State being favored. Okay, no surprise. Do they have one of the best offenses? Absolutely. CJ Stroud, Travion Henderson, all those guys are amazing. I would say this though. Now, okay, would you say last week, with a couple days ago, that Michigan State game? Would you say that Michigan State's defense did what they could, or do you really think they let Ohio State have it? I'm not saying Ohio State's not 56 points worth anything. Like they're really good. I know that.
I think they.
Michigan has something else here. First
think
off, they're going to the big house. They're going on the road, and comparing the defenses, Michigan is better in terms of the passing yards they're allowing.
Yeah, pass rush and stuff.
Now, Ohio State is better against the run, but Michigan's giving up slightly less points. It's an 8-point spread. That's still like a one-possession game or whatever.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm not, I'll
What
say
happened?
I think Ohio State, I think they will win. Let's be honest. Nobody wants them to except Buckeye fans, so we're all pulling for Michigan here. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is finally the time Jim Harbaugh gets the Buckeyes. I would not be surprised if it happens.
Okay, can I make this point?
Go ahead.
What happened the last time Ohio State had to play 2 running backs?
I don't know.
Are you talking about last year with Sermon and Master Teague?
No, I'm talking about Oregon.
Oh, you're talking about when they had to play a team with 2 running back system.
A double-head monster with you had Verdell.
They lost. They
had C.J. Verdell and Travis Dye.
And Michigan is, hey, that's fair because they have 3 different backs to choose from. But yeah, they are. It's mostly Hassan Haskins who has over 1,000 rushing. But don't sleep on Blake Corum.
Now, bad news about that. He's out for the year.
Who is?
Blake Corum.
Oh, man. Are you serious?
Yeah, and I've been told that he's out for a year, but he's going to come back next year healthy. And the bad thing about that is Hassan Haskins going to NFL next year, which sucks.
I didn't hear that.
Notice too. I'll say this.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Are you sure he's out for the year?
Yeah, that's what I heard, but
I didn't hear that at all.
I heard he was hopeful to play this Saturday.
Maybe.
How you doing?
Go ahead, Bowd.
Okay. Well,
I was going to point out real quick. So notice here, and I'm fixing to get to a key guy for Michigan in a second. Yards passing, just shy of 230 on the year for Michigan. That's pretty good. But then you look at the passing yards Ohio State's allowing, it's a little bit more than that. They haven't been – and they got some good secondary, but, I mean, it hasn't been the best. But a key guy that you got to keep your eye on for Michigan, right, and I love their O-line this year, Cornelius Johnson is a key guy. You got Eric Hall. They have some receivers that are really fast, good hands, that can get open and make big plays. And I really do think they're going to make some big plays on Ohio State. Now, is Ohio State going to fire back on their offense? Absolutely. I want to be surprised, honestly, if it's a shootout down to the end.
I don't know what happened, but before Michigan State, I thought the weakness to Ohio State's team was the run defense. And honestly, I still believe in it. I think they're going to get a lot of rushing.
No. It's definitely the secondary that's been the most inconsistent.
What, Ohio State?
Yeah.
For Ohio State?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yes. When they play a good rushing team, what I'm saying is they don't defend it very well. Now they have to play this.
You're only thinking of one game that where they really got ran on. Other than that, they've given up more explosive passing plays on the year than run plays.
Well, I don't think they really have a great defense all around. But
I think their front seven is, well, at least their defensive line is pretty good. It's one of the better ones in college football. But
I know this. Georgia and Cincinnati are going to be rooting like crazy for Michigan.
Oh, you have
not really. I don't. To be honest,
No, go ahead.
Ohio State wins, and Michigan wins, That's just
Go ahead, Jeff.
No, if you're a Georgia fan and you don't care about this game, then you're not paying attention. If you're a Georgia fan, you don't want Ohio State making the playoffs. And if they lose to Michigan, they won't, because they won't reach the Big Ten title game. So you want Michigan to win. And if you're Cincinnati, you desperately need Michigan to win.
yeah, I get that.
Scenario-wise, right?
Whoa!
I'm going to say this.
Whoa.
This is my quote unquote hot take, but it's not really. It's really kind of like lukewarm because it's not going to end up happening.
Let me tell you this one.
But in case it does, remember that you're the first that you heard it from me. Okay. Do not sleepwalk on a possible Wisconsin win in Indianapolis.
Right.
Well, let me say this.
Wisconsin is one of the hottest teams in the country right now, playing outstanding defense. And as always, they can run the ball. Not like with Jonathan Taylor, but good enough.
Oh.
Now, in the past, everybody said, this is the year they're going to do it, and then they spit up on themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
One of these times, Wisconsin is going to get the win.
For sure.
And I guarantee you, whoever wins the East would much rather see Iowa than Wisconsin.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick to.
Well, I
really do think this is the year. Go ahead.
This might sound arrogant, but I kind of want to see Ohio State national title so that we can shut their fans up from saying that they're the best offense. And
Alabama did that last year.
I want it to happen because every year Ohio State fans do this. So I know it sounds arrogant, but I do want them to play Georgia for that reason.
Anyway, to summarize this one up, look, Ohio State, yes, they're the better team, but I just have a gut feeling Michigan just has better defense, and I think they're going to find a way to get to just there's going to be maybe a turnover or some sort of stop, but I really think they could get it, and I'm going to give it to them, and I'm going to say they win by 8 points, 34.
Oh.
I think they win 34 to 26. Now, you also, I want you guys to hear this score that this Ryan Stano put out this morning predicting this game. He said the Buckeyes win, which, again, if you're picking the Buckeyes to win, full on, don't blame you. They are the better team. I personally believe Michigan could get it done finally. He said they not only win, they win 63-10.
Who in the world?
Hold on. I'm going to put the link in. It's from scarletandgame.com from Fansided.
That's Ohio State.
Ryan Stano.
He said Ohio State would win 63.
He said he's an Ohio State writer.
Okay, well, he's out of his mind. This game
is really good this year, I'm telling you.
This game's going to be within 2 touchdowns.
This is why I hate Ohio State fans. Go ahead.
Ballard, you need to take that down off your screen so we can see who's in the stream.
Oh, true.
Oh, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm gonna go 34-26 Michigan. I think they finally get it done. And Harbaugh.
That's a good pick. I like that pick.
The score and everything.
I think. But I'm gonna go with Ohio State here. I think.
Okay, and I respect that fully. I understand it.
I think they do just enough on defense. I think Michigan's wide receivers, they're really good running the ball and all that, but I think Ohio State's just too explosive. I'm going to give it to Ohio State.
But 63-10, though.
I'm going to give it to Ohio State. Not
they are not that good.
I'm going to go 42-35 Ohio State.
Oh, so you see a little bit bigger shootout than what I got going on.
And I mean, that score is not that bad, actually, but I get it.
Yeah, but anyways,
if I was a Michigan fan, I'd be pretty optimistic, and if I was a Michigan fan, I'd pick Michigan just because.
Now, a couple years here or there, not only has Harbaugh not beaten the Buckeyes at all, but there have been quite a few blowouts. The thing about forget Ohio State for a second. This isn't necessarily me downing Ohio State. This is me sitting here looking at what Michigan has done this year, and I'm saying, dang it, they're good. So, yeah, 34-26, the Wolverines getting it done finally, and Harbaugh finally beating the Buckeyes. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it this Saturday going down in Ann Arbor, and I think the Wolverines could get it done.
And
Hey,
since Michigan is a running team, I think
Defense.
that's gonna be trouble for them in the Big Ten title because Wisconsin's run defense is
they're pretty legit.
like, and because of that, I think, and I know Michigan beat them the first time and all that, but look, Wisconsin's
what the hell?
Wisconsin's a different team than they were in Week 5, and I think with their run defense, everything, they could cause. What is that? But I was about to say they could cause real trouble to Michigan. Ohio State, not as much because Ohio State's a passing team. But Michigan, I think they could cause serious trouble.
Right. I mean, yes, Michigan can run and they can sometimes pass if they want to.
But the reason why I think Michigan win that, I think their receivers are too much. I don't think Wisconsin has enough offense. I still think Michigan would win by 2+ touchdowns against Wisconsin, but I would put the game on
two plus
over Wisconsin. Yeah,
I'll say 2 touchdowns.
I wouldn't go that far.
You know what has improved? Alabama's run defense since Week 3 is.
Hold on. I see Will back there. I'm not going to be on here too much longer, man, because this Bucks game's fixing to start, and my grandmother wants to watch it with me. So.
Oh, okay.
All right.
This will be a good one. She's, she loves Tom Brady, but also as a Penn State fan, like she's also like, I'm pulling for Saquon too.
Well, yeah, but that's on ESPN, and I think the Bucks are going to win. But
hell yeah, they're going to win.
Damn
no.
right.
Are you a Bucks fan? Will?
Are the Manning boys on the deuce tonight?
Oh, I don't know if they're calling it. I didn't listen in.
Yeah, they are. They're calling it. Jeff.
No, I'm not a Bucks fan, but I just know that they're going to beat the Giants.
Okay, Jeff, the Manning brothers are on 847.
Jerry.
They're on what?
847. Well, ESPN 2. TV.
Okay. So they'll be on once the game starts.
Yes,
I want eggnog right now.
Okay, I see they got a countdown up at the top. Peyton and Eli, 8 minutes, 45 seconds. Yeah. I'll do that I'd rather listen to them while I'm doing some stuff on my computer and kind of quasi-watch the game than
All right.
watch the game. I don't really give a damn about Tom Brady.
Hey guys, I'll go, but
How about that? Check to local.
Yeah.
Sorry,
agree.
Nate.
I'll go because I'm getting hungry. Whoever. And Ballard, I hope you're right. If you're wrong, I'll be mad at you.
Hey, I'm just glad that we're all kind of sort of on the same page about.
Yeah, I know.
Just how Michigan is this year. Like this is finally one of those ones where, I mean, you could look at a streak that Ohio State has, but I really do think Michigan has one of the more complete teams that they've had in a while this year. And
Michigan's got a lot of talent this year.
They really do, man, especially on that defense.
Plus the O-line.
Now, Clemson, if you think Ohio State's winning 45-13,
hell no.
Definitely not.
I know you think Ohio State's great, but I mean 45-13, it's not going to be a blowout. I mean, come on. Michigan's going to score more than 13. Ohio State might get to 45.
All right, guys. I hope Ballard's right. If he is, I'll say thank you. I'm just excited for this Saturday. I'm just excited. But
me too, man. I hate that I'll have to work, but I mean, there's always highlights and stuff.
You know what? You know what I don't like about this Saturday though?
What?
The game's not at night.
The game's always at noon, though, right?
Yeah,
I know, but I wish it was at night. Oh
my gosh, you're sounding like me about the Iron Bowl. Go.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what I like about Saturday is that I get to watch Bedlam and the Iron Bowl live because my shooting is Iowa State plays on Friday.
Oh, that's true.
There you
They
go.
don't
Hey,
You get the whole
play
day.
Saturday. They play
Oh.
TCU 3:30 on Friday.
That's
hey,
awesome.
here's a question, guys. Is Georgia going to cover the spread of 35 against Georgia Tech?
Absolutely.
I think so, but that, look, this isn't a knock on Georgia. I really think Georgia Tech's that bad of a team. No offense to Georgia, but I mean, come on. They'd cover it if it was like 75. You know what I'm saying?
Georgia Tech has a 3.1% chance of winning this game, according to ESPN.
Jesus, it might as well be 0. What's up,
Yeah.
Big Dude?
Well, let me say this, and I know we haven't talked about this game yet. And there's going to be an absolute massacre in Stillwater.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State is going to dominate.
Oh, I didn't even think about that one. Aren't
State.
Aren't both of them still?
You heard it from me first.
I'm a man. I'm 40's going to win.
Yeah, 35-7. Oklahoma State gets the win.
35-7? No, I think it's going to be close. I think it's closer, but Oklahoma State will still take the win.
Oklahoma State's their D-line, their defense, their run game. It's going to be too much for. I mean, look, Oklahoma's run defenses.
Dude, it's always a close game between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State.
Well, this is a different year. Oklahoma State is serious.
The spread is
Their
4
run
point.
game.
Dude, not only is it a 4-point spread, it's in favor of the Cowboys.
And it should be.
It should be.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this.
Mm-hmm.
With Oklahoma's run defense being terrible and their offense hasn't played well against good defenses. And Oklahoma State's D-line and their O-line and their run game, they're going to win the trenches. They're going to run the ball down Oklahoma's throat. They're going to shut them down. I say 35-7. Oklahoma State's serious.
And I'll say this too. It's in Columbia, and say whatever you want, but with South Carolina 6-5, Clemson not being what we're used to, this might be the year the Gamecocks get the Tigers. Would y'all agree?
Yeah, it might actually.
Now this game's in Columbia. The spread is Clemson favored, obviously, but it's 11.5. I don't know if they cover that if they win.
No, they don't.
I really don't. I think if you set it at like 5, I'm like, okay, cool. But 11.5, look.
I guess we've got memories of goldfish. All right. Did you not
26 points a game, sir.
Did you not see what we just did last week?
A game.
Well,
No,
let me say
they
this.
killed it last week.
Oh yeah, let me say this though. South Carolina, they're pretty hot right now. Even though they lost.
No, they're not. No, they're
Even
not.
though they lost to Missouri.
They've beaten two. They've beaten two. They lost. Don't forget they lost to Missouri, and they've beaten two teams that have given up.
Who have they played?
I know, but
they
South
beat
Carolina,
the barn.
They've gotten better over the course of the
They
season.
beat the barn.
Carry the hell on.
And I know they lost to Missouri, but look, they've gotten better over the course of the season.
So is Clemson.
That
And
is
I'd say
true.
Clemson has gotten significantly better.
Listen, I'll say this.
And if I'm picking this game today, I'm picking Clemson. But still, I put it on upset alert.
I got
touchdown.
And if you've watched South Carolina's offensive line play, they're not going to be able to block Clemson. They're not going to be able to move the ball.
Jacob, what's your
I never said that. I never said that.
Jacob, what's your score
I will
prediction?
time you out, but I got more respect.
But Jacob, what's your score prediction for Clemson, South Carolina?
I'm going to go with I don't think South Carolina's going to do that well on offense. I'm probably going to go with 31-10, 14, but I would put it on upset alert just because.
I can see that.
I'd go 28-14 Gamecocks.
28-17.
Gamecocks.
So South Carolina is going to put up 28.
28-17 Tigers.
Pitt and Wake Forest couldn't put up 28 on Clemson, but South Carolina's offense is going to put up 28. That makes a lot of sense.
28-17 Clemson.
I don't see. I'm going to go 31-10 Clemson over South Carolina.
I'm going to go with South Carolina's going to do what they are. They're going to
Crap the bed.
they're going to suck what they are. So give me Clemson.
Yeah.
You doing all right, D4?
Actually,
I'm good.
I'm gonna go 31-7. 31-7 Clemson. But I do put
I
on
really
upset
don't
alert.
care. I just want to beat Auburn, man. Let's get to Saturday.
The reason why I put on upset alert though is it is a rivalry game. South Carolina's probably feeling themselves after a good win, and it's at Columbia. But I do think Clemson probably beats them by a lot.
How do you think the Ole Miss Mississippi State game will
I have
turn
a
out?
strong opinion on that. I think Mississippi State's winning at 35-28.
Really?
Which one? Which one?
And let me tell you why. It's because
Ole Miss Mississippi State.
Oh, that'll be
Mississippi
good.
State's defense and their front seven, I think they're gonna do really well against Ole Miss, and Ole Miss isn't gonna be. They're gonna be efficient on offense, but they're not gonna they're not gonna boat race the scoreboard and all that. But Mississippi State, I think their offense will. I think they'll be pretty successful, and I think they win 35-28.
All right.
Give me Ole Miss 63-56.
Okay, I see that.
Wait, could we ask Jeff Webster on? Did we get Jeff Webster's prediction on Alabama Auburn?
Well, we know his
Oh.
prediction.
I'm gonna have a special. I myself am gonna have a special preview video, so I'm not even gonna speak much other than Auburn better watch out.
He said
Jeff,
Auburn will
I'm
win.
curious to hear from Jeff.
Yeah, I'm too.
I'm not
He
ready
said
to
Auburn.
give a. I'm not ready to give a score yet. I think Bama wins, but I'm not comfortable on giving a score yet. I'm waiting. There's 2 bits of information I'm waiting on, and
Yeah.
we'll see. I'll let you know Friday.
I think I know what Jeff is thinking. He picked Auburn to upset Bama preseason, but since a loss has already happened for Bama, he doesn't think another one will happen, which makes sense. Plus, Auburn's they're not as good as they were midseason. So
I think Alabama will win the game. I'm confident in my Crimson Tide. I know I've said some things, but it's more so. It's not how good Bama is, obviously, but I really do think. I mean, Auburn the past few weeks, and again, I'm not sold on TJ Finley too much. I think if they have a full-on healthy Bo Nix, that's one thing. I really think the offensive line is abysmal right now for Auburn, and I really do think that. God, I don't know, man. It's probably going to be a long afternoon on Saturday.
I'm quoting this straight from the Ballard website.
Oh shoot!
Auburn by 20. Go Dogs, sick 'em.
That's bad, dude. I haven't posted on the website in a while, but I'm going to get back to trying to blog some more, man, for sure.
Yeah.
now one thing I do want to ask him. I'm going to ask Celine this on Wednesday because I don't see where he's going with this, but he really wants. He's a strong opinion that he wants Charlie Strong as Florida's next head coach. I mean, he's destroyed 2 programs in the past. So I know he was a DC. No, he's destroyed 2 programs in the past decade. One of them being Texas and then South Florida. I know he was. I guess he was the DC at Florida during Urban Meyer era, but he was filled with talent and everything.
I mean, you're better. Honestly, they're better off keeping Mullen over that, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I that's what I'm saying. Charlie Strong, if he were to be at Florida, and I'm going to ask Celine this on Wednesday once again, he's going to turn them into a dumpster fire. And maybe Florida's already a dumpster fire, but he's really going to make Florida they're going to be bad for a long time.
They're already a dumpster fire.
Yeah, but they can still get back on. They're still in a position where they can get back on their feet. If they hire Charlie Strong, it's over. It's over for a long time.
Here's a thought on the Iron Bowl, and this is kind of out of left field. Except Randy Peterson, who is the head sports writer at the Des Moines Register, he and I were talking today at noon, and he brought this up, and I thought it was an interesting take. One of the head coaching jobs, 2 of them that are open, are Washington and Washington State. Okay? Don't be caught with your pants down if Brian Harkson at Auburn doesn't see one of those jobs, and that's where he's from. Remember, he was at Boise State.
Yeah, he's from the
and he
West
did
Coast.
great too.
He's a
I
West
could see him
Coast
in
guy.
Washington.
He might, especially the Washington job, which is the better job. If they come
Right.
after him, he might be a 1-year Johnny come lately at Auburn and leave Auburn after a year.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, look, I
I'm gonna
like
be.
the hire. I
No, I'm
like the
not
hire
saying he
for
will, but
Auburn.
it's a possibility.
Right. Like
I
I
don't.
don't see. I'm not gonna say this like I don't see it from him, but nothing really. Like I don't see the biggest passion. Like I see a passion for him that he wants to coach football, not
Let,
necessarily Auburn. If you get what I'm getting at.
let me say this. And if you disagree with this, then you can explain it to me. But Brian Harsin is he nowhere does he fit the SEC.
Let's go.
Nowhere does he fit the SEC. I mean, he's a West Coast guy. He's not be like Auburn's one of they expect expectations. They expect you to win games and beat Bama and all that.
Yeah.
He doesn't fit all that. He just doesn't. So I don't think the SEC is a good fit for him at all. I mean, what do y'all think?
I could agree to that.
Yeah.
I
think the
I mean,
Pac-12.
look, the SEC is just so high up in football with expectation. Like it, we talk about, it's Bama and the rest of the SEC. That's why you need it. And, again, like
Bama and the rest of the SEC.
Auburn historically is an amazing program, with passion and passion. I mean, you need the right guy to keep that program going in the right direction and keep it up.
And here's what I
And, only time will tell. I mean, we're not full on doubting Harsin. Like, I get what you're saying, but I would agree. I mean, look, he has to buy into what Auburn's expectations are. Like, if you go to a place like that, it's not this is what I have. No, Auburn's looking at you like, this is what we expect you to have. And he's got to have
this.
it. And the only time will tell.
This is my opinion on the Auburn job. And I think Florida, they're becoming the same thing. I think over these years, Auburn is paranoid that they're below Bama. And I think Florida's becoming paranoid that they're below Georgia. I think that's why Auburn and because Gus Malzahn, one thing he was able to do, he beat Bama 3 times all 3 times he wasn't supposed to. So they gave him a couple extra. I think that's
talking about Malzahn.
Yeah, I think that's why he got some extra time because he was able to beat Bama. He did it 3 times, but I think Florida's becoming this way too. They're getting paranoid that they're under somebody. Auburn doesn't like being under Bama. Florida doesn't like being under Georgia. They're getting paranoid. And that's why
Florida is playing Auburn right now with Georgia, is what you're saying.
That's why Florida fired Dan Mullen. Because if you look at the talent for Georgia and look at the talent for Florida, they're paranoid that Georgia is better than them, and
it's not even so much.
And they're upset.
I was just gonna say real quick, like, I mean, look, I don't think it's necessarily we're firing you because of the record. No. They're looking at him because it's like, come on, dude.
I think that has a part
going forward.
I was talking all sorts of crap about Dan Mullen in the chat of the morning show today, and for some odd reason,
what did you say?
For someone I said he was a clown, and for some odd reason, I got timed out. I don't know who timed me out, but it was weird.
Well, let me say this. If you look at the talent for Georgia, look at the talent for Florida, it's not even close. And Florida's upset about it. They're mad at Georgia better than them. That and the record of Florida this year and their trajectory and the direction they're heading in, that has a part to do with it.
Yeah.
But I think Georgia being so high and Florida not being close, that also has a part to do with it.
Yeah, like they could be mad all they want, but they just got to know they're not going in the right direction right now.
I like what LW says here real quick. He says, when you're a first-year coach, it's for a reason. Have to give a guy a few years. That's fair. Mullen and Malzahn are the same. Can't win 11 one year and 5 the next more than one time. Like, okay, if you have a great season and then if you go 10-2 in the regular season, like your first year or second year, whatever, take your pick. Like within your first 4 years,
Let me say
that's
this.
great. That's good. Then you have a bad 5-7. Okay, took a step back. You lost some players. No big deal. But then the next year, you stick to a 5-7 or a 6-6, and that 10-2 team that you had, and you're not getting back to that or consistently improving with your wins. That's the issue.
I think, and this is another thing to do it too. I think Florida's beginning to think, and they're having rumors. I think they're thinking that Dan Mullen just doesn't care enough about recruiting. I mean, it's the 23rd ranked class right now, and he's only finished in the top 10 like one. And at Florida, that's not very good, and Florida fans think that he doesn't have the heart to recruit and beat Georgia. They think that he just wants to grab a play sheet and go out and coach with random guys. That's
True.
that's
true. Kirby Smart went 8-5 in his first year, and then went 13-2 the next year. So he took many steps up the next season.
And Steve Spurrier was kind of that way too, but he was able to win games.
Yeah.
Same with Joe Paterno. He didn't like recruiting either. But
Kirby loves recruiting.
No, I said Joe Paterno.
Yeah, I know, but I was talking about Kirby.
I mean, Spurrier and Paterno, they were, and the reason why they stayed is, well, Paterno stayed was a different era. Recruiting wasn't as big of a deal, and Spurrier, and they just won games.
Now.
They won games, and and let me tell you something. Spurrier, with him not wanting to recruit, he wouldn't survive in Florida in today's game. I mean, you just have to be able to recruit, and that's why he went to South Carolina, because he knows that he's not going to get fired for having a couple down seasons and all that. So Dan Mullen, he fits the 90s is another thing. I mean,
and it's always
not today's time.
Every year in recruiting, it's always Alabama and Georgia in the top two. Yeah. Usually.
You got Alabama.
At least what it's been.
Yeah. And then Florida's not. When was the last time Florida's been up there?
Oh, I mean, you'd have to go back to Tim Tebow times, I think,
Tim
right?
Tebow, freaking.
Well, Florida
literally lost Tim Tebow and lost their brand, if you get what I'm getting at. But carry on.
Last time Florida was good at recruiting, well, I mean, it used to be with Florida. Urban Meyer, he was a great recruiter, and maybe Alabama's class passed him, but at one point he had the best class ever in 2010, and he might still have it. I'm not sure if the last year's Alabama class passed it or not, but
2014-15.
But at one point, from the 2010 Florida class was the best class ever, and I'm gonna go see if it still is.
Well, what about Urban Meyer's class in 2014-15?
No, that wasn't as good as the only thing that might be better than his 2010 class is last year's Alabama class, and I don't know if it was, so I'm gonna go see if it was.
I think Alabama's class probably was better than that 2010.
Yeah, because they had 7 5-stars. Georgia's class in 2018 got close, but it didn't get there.
Yeah.
All right, so.
But what about our 2017 class?
No, Georgia never had a class that passed Bama's. Alabama.
But this year did.
No, I mean Georgia never had a class that passed the 2000.
Sit down. We got December coming.
No. I didn't mean that. I meant Georgia never had a class that passed the Urban Meyer class of 2010. And I was right. The 2021 Alabama class passed Urban's class of 2010. But once again, that was the greatest class ever for 11 years. So
that was the greatest class in history. What are you talking about?
Florida's class?
The one Alabama just.
No, I said Florida. The 2010 Urban.
Florida's, yeah.
The 2010 Urban Meyer class was the greatest ever for 11 years. So, there's that. And Georgia's class.
Yeah.
But our class this year has been freaking awesome.
Yeah, we just signed another 5-star, by the way. DB, Singletary. Teams Singletary, Riverside, Jacksonville, Florida.
Good.
That's what I remember.
Good. That's what we need on our defense.
Yeah, well, so
y'all
now
need
there's 3.
defense.
Yeah, we'll need defense to stop Bama.
You don't need to stop Bama. You need
But
to.
even Georgia's class this year isn't close to what Urban's class was in 2010 and what Saban's class was in 2021 or the 2018 Kirby class. But this year's not over yet, so yeah.
The big difference, and it's a huge gap. A huge gap.
Damn it.
Is percent. A 5-star is supposed to end up being a first-round draft pick. Okay?
Yeah.
Never mind what they do, whether they're a good pro or not. A 5-star is a projected first-round draft pick. Okay, so what percent of the 5-stars that you get end up being first-round draft picks?
56.
Not how many. What percent? Okay.
Are you asking Georgia? Are you asking about Georgia?
Wait. When this season started, Saban had 47% of his 5-stars end up being first-round draft picks.
Yeah.
47%. You know who number 2 was?
Who?
LSU.
LSU.
Yeah,
you
probably.
Do you know what their percent was?
44?
Oh, yeah, 40. It was 32.
29.
Oh, 29.
Oh, I thought it was 32.
That's good.
There's an 18% gap between Alabama and the next best team in the country in taking 5-star recruits and then having them live up to their promise. And it's not even half that end up being first-round draft picks.
And I
that is another selling point. When Nick Saban is sitting in your living room and you're a 5-star, he can say you can be a 5-star and go to Oklahoma and have a 15% chance of ending up being in the first round, or you can come here and it's almost 50-50.
Right.
I mean,
okay.
Those kind of things matter because the 5-star isn't the 3-star. The 5-star is thinking about the NFL the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
like Trevor Lawrence
Georgia,
or whoever, take your pick.
Yeah, well,
now if I'm Arch Manning, if I'm a 5-star quarterback recruit, there is no way in hell I'm considering going to Georgia.
Okay.
Georgia has not proven it with their quarterbacks. I'm thinking about Lincoln Riley. I'm thinking about Sarkisian. I'm thinking about Lane Kiffin. Maybe I'm considering Alabama if they're interested in me. There's no way I'm going to Georgia because there's no way I'm going to Georgia because Georgia has been a train wreck for their quarterbacks.
That is true.
Yeah, well, Georgia. Well, he is interested in Georgia.
Great program. It doesn't mean that you can't go there and suddenly be the man.
No.
Well,
but there hasn't been a man at Georgia
Walker?
for a long time.
Yeah, since Walker.
At quarterback.
He's talking about quarterbacks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know.
There's all sorts of other positions that are great. I'm just saying,
for sure.
If there's a position weakness at Georgia,
it's the quarterback.
As far as, and they've got the recruits. Look at their quarterback room; they got great talent in there. But one or two of those kids are transferring. You know they are.
Defend that man.
Well, let me say that. Well, Arch Manning, it's between Georgia and Texas, and I think Georgia's going to get him because Texas is 4-7 right now. I don't see why he'd go there, but
record doesn't determine where someone's going to go.
Well, it has a big part of it. But Sarkisian, who ran one of the greatest offenses ever, is there. So I'm not saying Texas doesn't have the shot, but the trajectory Texas is heading in, I think he's going to go to Georgia over.
Yeah,
But Arch Manning can listen. Steve Sarkisian can tell Arch Manning, I took a 3-star and turned him into Mac Jones.
Yeah.
And you're more talented coming out of high school than Mac Jones ever thought he was.
Mhm.
Also, throw in this fact here: the fact that think about. Okay, you mentioned what Sarkisian did with Mac Jones, but I also like to throw in the fact: think of the league you're playing in, where hey man, we just need some offense. We need the best talented guys we can get. How would you like to be scoring 50 points a game for us in a great offensive league? Why not come to Texas or Baylor or Oklahoma or whoever in the Big 12? But especially you mentioned a guy like Sarkisian. I mean, it's an offensive league.
And I'm going to be
If you
honest.
go out and try to target a guy like Arch Manning in a historic program like Texas, you don't think a Manning would go to Texas?
Let me say this. A month ago, I thought Texas was going to get him because Texas was not that bad. You had Sarkisian there, and he was interested in there. I thought they were going to get him. Now that Texas is in a really bad spot, I think he's going to go to Georgia. I really do.
I got you.
LW, that is true. We are
But
going to
what
have some
about
good transfers.
is he Arch Manning? He's part of 2023, isn't he? He's still got a couple years, right?
Oh yeah, he's coming in 23.
Okay, never mind. I was thinking this year, next year, because I was going to say you've got like Gunnar Stockton and Brock Vandagriff or whatever. Like you guys have some guys. See, that's what's so funny. That's what's so crazy.
Isn't Arch Manning
Go ahead,
right
Jacob.
now, as we're sitting here talking, isn't he a junior in high school?
Yes, but
I think
a lot
so.
of hype around. There's a lot of hype.
Right. So he's still got another year. He's not a college's class of 2020 recruit. He's a college's class of 2023.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
a whole nother year can play out. Who knows what's going to happen in a whole nother year? Who knows?
My
But
prediction.
also,
I have a prediction. If Texas is a decent team next season, I think he's going to go there. But if they have another bad season, I think he's going to go to Georgia. That's my prediction.
Yeah, that's fair.
But if Texas
here's
has
the
a
thing, though. Here's how
Man,
I view this.
I'd be looking at Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Georgia has. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Jacob, that I'm speaking?
What I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh. Well, okay. You look at schools like Georgia and Alabama. Okay, you have a Stetson Bennett, a Bryce Young, or whatever. Like they got their quarterbacks now, but think about the depth. You guys just signed a 5-star and Brock Vandagriff. You got this guy coming in Gunnar Stockton. Alabama's kind of in that position. We got this Ty Simpson coming in. Like there's already for the bigger programs. There's already a couple quarterbacks lined up ahead of Arch Manning at these bigger programs that are kind of standing in his way that are other 5-stars or whatever. You know, if you get what I'm getting at.
Let me ask you this, Ballard. How is
Okay.
recruiting at Alabama going to change when Nick Saban leaves?
Don't change the subject.
Well, all right. Well,
What the
this
hell?
if Nick Saban were to leave tomorrow, and Alabama offered every single coach in the country the job, there'd only be everyone would probably take it except maybe someone like Kirby Smart. So Alabama could really they could get anybody they wanted if Nick Saban left tomorrow. I think they're gonna. That's the advantage you have when you have a legendary coach. I mean, your next coach is going to be you're going to be able
That's
to
true,
strike,
LW.
you're going to be able to strike the iron because what the last coach did was legendary and all that. That's what happened with Florida State. I mean, Bobby Bowden left; they were able to get Jimbo Fisher. I mean, so
First off, no, sorry, I really want to comment on. First off, LW, that's true. I forgot about Jalen Milroe being on the roster. Got some good playing time. I think this last week or whatever it was. You got him. I mean, throw in another quarterback for Bama. Greater than Ty Simpson. I don't know, man. A lot of people have hyped up Ty Simpson. We'll see. Maybe he's right. I don't know. But again, like there's just another quarterback on Alabama's roster, and I'm sure there's one or two that I might not have mentioned for Georgia too.
If I'm Alabama, I would start Jalen Milroe.
Right now over Bryce?
No,
Or are you saying like after Bryce is gone? What
over
are you
Ty
talking about?
Simpson. But why would I start somebody over Bryce Young right now? I mean, that's just an idiotic statement if I were to
It gives the offense a bigger spark.
No. Bryce is
It fix it.
No, Bryce starter at Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We're stuck with him.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the deal with
I love
Bryce.
Bryce Young.
Here's the deal with
It's just
Bryce.
not all that.
He's got 38 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. 38 and 3. 2,700 yards. He's just under 70% accurate. He's 179 out of 257 through 10 games. But hang on, kids. Hang on. That means he's got 78 passes that he's thrown. 3 were intercepted. So 75 were not caught by an Alabama player. He's thrown 75 passes that were not caught by anybody. Okay.
Whoops.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Alabama has 33 drops. Their receivers have been terrible. 33 drops.
And
and a lot of them came against Texas A&M.
And he's only got 75 uncaught balls, and 33 of them would have been caught, but they were dropped.
Yeah, like against Texas A&M.
You know who is a big problem with that? As great as Jamison Williams is, he has a big problem with drops.
Mechie's dropping the ball. Latu, Billings.
Everyone is. Bryce sometimes overthrows.
Georgia doesn't drop many passes. I will say that.
Oh,
but they're
what
also.
did he do? Here we go with Georgia. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I just brought that up. But they run the ball most of the time.
Especially Bowers.
Yeah, Bowers.
Brock Bowers, the tight end.
Brock Bowers doesn't drop passes.
Nah, and he's a freaking runner.
Yeah,
he's fast.
He's kind of like plays like a receiver in a way.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then you got Darnell Washington at Georgia as well, which is the Georgia tight ends are great, and
and
Alabama's are too.
If you watched any of the Oklahoma-Iowa State game, you saw the best tight end in the country. The Mackey Award is going to Charlie Kohler of Iowa State.
You talking about Charlie Kohler?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
He caught 12 passes for I don't know how many yards, but yeah, I thought Wiedermeyer, I thought the guy from Texas A&M would have a better year than he's having, but they've got quarterback issues. That's what's hurt him. To me, it's Kohler at Iowa State and Meyer at Notre Dame are the two best tight ends in the country. That's not taking anything away from the Georgia kid. They're not the Bauer kid. Give him time. He's just a freshman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not. Yeah. If he keeps doing it, then we can talk.
Yeah, that's true. And I think he will win the John Mackey Award eventually. But
he might. He's just not gonna. They're not gonna give it. They're not gonna give it to a freshman when you got somebody who's got the career stats and the season stats that Kohler and Meyer are putting up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm biased because I know Charlie Kohler and I like him and I talk to him. He's got a great sense of humor and he's a good kid. And I mean he's he's but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a rich young man in a couple of months.
I remember I got into an argument with someone here because I told them that Kyle Pitts was the best tight end in the country before the season, and they told me that I was crazy, and I was just like, what? And I was just like, I said, Tyler Pitts is going to have a big season. He's like, no, the Penn State tight end is better. And I'm like, no, Kyle Pitts is going to. And then it just went on, and turns out I was right. Kyle Pitts, best tight end.
Who was this argument with?
Some troll in the comment section, and I call him troll because I don't know if he's troll or not. But
Yeah.
he told me Penn State tight end was better, and Penn State tight end was good. But
How did Jacob talk over that thing while the rest of us were muted?
Some of them mute, some of them don't.
You big dummy, see what you did?
They muted me.
So I don't know how it determines whether to mute or
you
not.
got
I don't know.
you got Bill Parcells on the Manning show right now.
Oh,
Fournette is running the hell out of that ball. Let's go.
let's see. I want the Bucks to win because I don't like the Giants.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, whoever
Jets.
wins. I'm cheering for the Giants because
Jets fan over here
Ready.
hate the Giants.
I'm cheering for the Giants because I know that they're probably not going to do it, but it gives the Falcons a little bit of a better shot to win their division, I guess.
No, I just hate the Giants.
Yeah, okay.
I'm glad I've got the TV on mute because I never could stand Bill Parcells, and I don't want to hear him yapping.
I got muted too, bro.
I got him muted because I don't want
Mannings are entertaining. I didn't care for either one of them in college or the pros, but they are entertaining, and they seem like nice guys. Kind of guys, you'd sit and have a beer with them. They're good guys, good people. I mean, Arch isn't going to Ole Miss because he's not going to follow his dad. He's not going to follow Eli. The Manning thing is already established at Ole Miss. He's not going to Tennessee because Peyton's there. I don't know that he wants to go to any place in the SEC except for like Texas, which was not really in the SEC but is now, or will be by the time he gets there.
Yeah.
I just, he wants to, like you would if you were the younger brother out of three. I mean, you want to go make your own name somewhere else,
him out that.
What if he goes to a place like Ohio State?
Well, I don't think that's going to happen. But my point,
no, he's going to stay
in the South.
South.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, my point
know.
is that there's news that came out with the SEC. They're either accepting Oklahoma or Texas next year or 2025. They're not going to accept them. Well, what they say is they're not accept them 2020.
In between.
They're not going to. Yeah, it's either next year or 2025, and I don't think Oklahoma and Texas are.
Are they accepting both of them or just one of them?
Both of them.
No, I think they're taking both of them, but at the same time. But like Jacob was saying,
there's no in between.
I would not be surprised if this is held off until 25, because I'll tell you one of the reasons why is because UCF, Houston, Cincinnati, and BYU are coming into the Big 12, and that's more or less set for 2025. It's not cement.
So they're gonna wait. They're gonna wait until they get those teams lined up to take their place.
Yeah,
in the Big 12.
Who knows? I mean, well, they owe it to people say, well, they owe them to wait or whatever. No, you don't owe nobody nothing, man. These schools don't owe any in the conferences any loyalty. They're doing what they think is best for them, and the hell with the conferences.
And well, I think that Oklahoma and Texas, I think they're going to try to push to join next year. And let me tell you why. They're both falling. Texas, especially Texas, they're both falling into bad spots. And I think the way that they want to get back up, to pick themselves back up, is joining the SEC, so they can say, hey, we're in the SEC. You want to play in the best conference, come here. And then they're going to be able – their recruiting rankings are going to get better.
Okay. Is it possible? Is it possible
I think
that after – hold on. You have to understand what's coming up next season for Alabama is the start of a home with Texas and Sarkisian. Is it possible
here's what's
they
get
a taste of that and they say, you know what, maybe we'll stick to the Big 12?
No, there's no going back.
And let me tell you why.
There's no going back. Those bridges are burned. There's no going back.
I'm just making jokes about the game for next year because that's going to be one I want to hype up.
Well, I think I get what Jeff is saying once again, but I think Oklahoma and Texas are going to push to join next year because They need that SEC recruiting. They need to get
They're
back.
not coming in next year. The SEC schedules are already set. They're already set in football. They're already set in all the other sports. It's done. It's over. They're not coming in next year.
Yeah, it's gonna be 2025 then.
Okay, 2025 then. But I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
D4. D4.
I mean, I'm not an SID. I'm not an AD. I don't know, but I would think that if A and B are joining the conferences with C and D and E and F or whatever, that there needs to be at least 2 years advance notice. I mean, I think you got to build in 2 years, which would be not next year, not the year after, meaning it's 24 or 25 before they come in.
Some people think that if let's just say Texas does join next year, which we don't know all that, but some people think if they were to join, and Georgia's home of Oklahoma, so if they were to join during those times, some people think that they'll just make Alabama and Texas an SEC game, or Georgia and Oklahoma an SEC game. That's what they think's going to happen.
Like Jeff said, they're not joining because they've already released the schedules.
Well, he said, well, yeah, that's well. I thought he said he didn't know, or
no, they're not coming in next year. It's done.
Yeah, the schedules are already released, so they're not coming in.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I thought he said he didn't know.
No. They cannot come in next year. They cannot.
Okay. I understand now.
I think Ballard.
That doesn't mean that they can't come in 23. I'm just saying it's unlikely because there are a lot of home and aways for Texas and Oklahoma that they already have down for 22 and 23. And okay, you could take the 23 schedule and throw it away. I understand. You could always do that. But the schools are not inclined to do that. They'd rather not if they don't have to.
Yeah, well, Texas has one with Alabama, and Oklahoma has one with Georgia. And Oklahoma has one with Georgia in 2027. And I think they'll just make that an SEC game. That's what I think is going to happen. Because they're going to join before 2025.
Bama's home and aways outside of the conference, and right now Texas is an outside of the conference. Next 2 years is Texas. Next 2 years after that is Wisconsin. Next 2 years after that is Florida State. Next 2 years after that is Ohio State. Next 2 years after that is Notre Dame.
Wow.
All right, let's see.
Hey, I remember Alabama played Wisconsin week 1 in was 2015, and 2015.
Let's see.
Alabama tried to get when they went to the Big Ten, and they tried to get the Ohio State thing was done. 28, 29, I think, of the years. I'm not sure of the years, but it's coming up sometime. And that was when they put them in. So then Bama's like, that's not quick enough. We need somebody else in the Big Ten before Ohio State. And they tried to get Penn State because the two schools have a long history of playing each other. And for some reason, Penn State couldn't work it out. They already had deals with Auburn and somebody else. And they just couldn't do it. So then Alabama's like, well, we'll throw it open. And they gave an open contract to the Big Ten saying, who wants us? And Wisconsin was the first one to step up. So they said, okay, Wisconsin.
And Georgia will be playing Oklahoma in week 2 of the 2023 season.
Yeah. And you know who Oklahoma plays in 2024?
Who?
They play Tennessee. Another SEC.
Yeah.
Another one.
Guys, tell you what, I'm going to at least end the stream. If y'all want to keep talking, you can, but I'm going to get off here and I'm going to go just kind of relax and watch the game. So,
All right.
If y'all want to keep talking, you can, but I'm at least going to end it.
All right.
That's live. But y'all hit the thumbs up, subscribe. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And from a Bama fan right here, Roll Tide.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Get in here, L-Dub, before Ballard leaves so you can get in and talk with him.
I'll drop the link one more time. Auburn, you're screwed.
Get in your LW. I want LW in here.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to him again.
At the very least, the link is in the comments, so anyone could go and access it. So
all right.
W said that Texas should want to stay in the Big 12 till 24 or 25 until they get corrected. I know Sark
Yeah.
wants to have a couple. I don't know about that. Because if Texas joins the SEC tomorrow, which they won't, but if they
Right.
were to, they'd get better recruiting just for being in the SEC. So I think they want to make a push to try to join the SEC. I think that's what they want to do. But
Hold on.
We might-
How would they get better recruiting by joining? I mean, just by joining the SEC.
that's what happened to Texas A&M. I mean, if you play in the best conference, people are going to want to come to play in the best conference. That's exactly what happened to Texas A&M.
That's true.
The recruiting used to be average, and it became great just by joining the SEC.
Yeah. All right. I'm at least again. I dropped the link. If anyone wants to click on it, feel free to. But I'm going to go ahead and end it. Roll Tide, and happy Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Come on.